Check our stream. Make sure our stream is good. Stream health. We're good. Little 5 minutes late. We're still good. Okay. Let me go back over to Blog Talk Radio. Thanks for hanging in there with me, Blog Talk Radio folks and people who are getting this on Stitcher Radio. Got the podcast version. If you want the video version, come on over to IamTimBlack.com. You can get me live, or you can watch the pre-recorded video version that's available on YouTube. Meerkat, how you doing? Meerkat, we're streaming Meerkat as well. So we got a lot of people here, man. We got a lot of people. Meerkat people, please feel free to interact. The call-in number, the call-in number is 323-870-4064. And what's up to my people on YouTube, YouTube land, YouTube world? I guess we'll go with it. We'll do the intro just because they haven't had a chance to feel good yet.
Tim Black. Tim Black. Tim Black. Yes, I am. True. Funny. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black.
All right. America has 5% of the world's population, but has 25% of the world's prison population. A bill to reduce that has been introduced. A bipartisan group of senators led by Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley and Assistant Democratic Leader Dick Durbin today introduced a comprehensive legislation aimed at recalibrating prison sentences for certain drug offenders, targeting violent criminals, and granting judges greater discretion at sentencing for low-level drug crimes. The package also seeks to curb recidivism by helping prisoners successfully re-enter society. The Sentence Reform and Corrections Act of 2015 is sponsored by Senators John Cornyn from Texas, Republican, Sheldon Whitehouse, Democrat, Rhode Island, Mike Lee, Republican from Utah, Charles Schumer, Democrat, New York, Lindsey Graham, Republican, South Carolina, Patrick Leahy, Democrat, Vermont, and Cory Booker, Democrat from New Jersey. I think we got to give him a round of applause. We got to give him a round of applause. I don't think everyone understands how big this is, right? I know that President Obama recently went on Vice. He went to a correctional facility. He's the first sitting president to do that while in office. And some people say he did it for political expediency because it made him look good, right? And some people say it's very cynical of him. He's very flippant. He's not truly an advocate of helping prisoners. That may be true, but even if it's window dressing, it helps, right? So you rather him not do it? Is that what we're saying? We'd rather he didn't do it? No, I'm glad he did it. I don't care why. I don't much care why. You know what? I don't much care why people do things. I care what people do. All right? When it comes to getting things done politically that you need done, guys, we can't sit around and worry about someone's motives. You know what? I don't care if you feel like going to work, as long as you're able to pay that bill, right? No one cares if you feel like it. All right? So anyway. That's how I feel about President Obama and that. Here's the reality, guys. 5% of the world population, housing 25% of the world's population, or prison population. Here goes another image. That's why, guys, if you're watching this, there was a drastic uptick in the number of incarcerated people starting in the 80s with President Reagan. If you look at this graph, if you can see this graph, you know what? Pass me that. I'll show them. Meerkat people, I want you to look at this graph. Look what happened. Can you see that? Look at that. Look at that. Look at the graph. That's what happened, folks. This is what happened. You see that? Sharp incline. There you go. Thank you, son. Oh, my son TJ's in the house. Say what's up, TJ.
What's good, y'all?
Say what's good. Did that help us? Did that help anyone? Does this help anyone? I think not. Who does it help? Well, all I hear about is how bad crime is, or how bad the people are. Trying to get this to the bottom. There we go. All I hear about is how bad we have it in the United States as far as crime, and all I keep looking is how many people we have in jail. Over 2.2 million people are in jail right now. Most of those people for low-level drug offenses. Now, some people say that Cory Booker coined this phrase. Some people say it was someone else. I don't know. I don't care who said it first. I'll say it this time. If you are black and innocent, you get treated worse than if you are white and guilty. America went from slave labor to prison labor. Prison labor. They make money off incarcerating people. That doesn't mean if you're white, you'll never go to jail. That doesn't mean that poor white people don't go to jail. You do too. Just not at the same rates as poor blacks and Latinos. Blacks specifically. Okay? But it doesn't mean, because I know I'm going to hear it. I'm going to hear about the white guy who had it bad. Okay? I'm talking about numbers here. Numbers. And let's talk a little bit more about numbers so people know what's going on. All right? So I got the bill, information about the bill. You want to hear more about the bill? Heck, let's talk about numbers. Fact sheet. Here we go, fact sheet. According to Unlocking America, if African American and Hispanics were incarcerated at the same rates as whites, today's prison and jail populations would decline by approximately 50%. African Americans constitute nearly 1 million of the total 2.3 million incarcerated population. African Americans are incarcerated at nearly 6 times the rate of whites. Well, that's easy, Tim. They just do more crime. No, they get pulled over. They get prosecuted more often. They get prosecuted. They get pulled over. They get searched. They get seized. They get locked up. They don't get the same defense. They get jailed. They get longer sentences. That is also true. I've said it a million times. I'll keep saying it till people hear it. You can't catch a person committing a crime if you don't stop them and search them. Another graphic. Do I have that graphic? I don't know if I had a graphic. There's a graphic that shows, anyway, because my blog talk people and my people on Meerkat can't see this. This is a graphic that shows that blacks and whites do drugs at the same amount, roughly the same amount. But blacks are 4 times more likely, I think it's 4 times more likely to go to jail for it. Then those same people who get on YouTube and they make all of these statements about African Americans, they make all of these statements about racist statements, actually, is what they make. And then they say, where are all the black people? Where are the fathers? They're in jail, dumbass. You got a guy like Adam Carolla that can go on this podcast that millions of people see. And everybody nominate this guy as the best podcaster in the business. And yeah, I'm pissed off about it because he's not. He spews hatred. He gets to do it under the guise of being funny. And he says, that's what's wrong in the black community. They're in jail. No, what's wrong in the black community is that they're poor. Poor. And cops prey on poor people to pad the books. Together, African Americans and Hispanics comprise 58% of all prisoners. In 2008, even though African Americans and Hispanics make up approximately 1/4 of the U.S. population, they are preying. They are putting them in the system. You know what you're doing? You know what? You know what happens when you go to jail for any length of time? You end up working. It's prison labor. Why can't people understand this? This is what's going on. They're putting them to work at the benefit of companies and corporations that make money. Jails are run like companies. They make money off locking people up. And do you realize that this bill that they're introducing will untie many of the judges' hands or wrists? Judges don't get to decide the sentencing. They just have to carry out the duty, the law. And if the law says if you're caught with a gram of weed, you get 10 years, the judge has no discretion in that matter. When they made a gram of marijuana, well, a gram of coke that you sniff, 1/5 of the length of time you would serve if it was crack. The judges had no control over that. None. They had no control over the sentencing. So what these good senators, both Republican and Democrat, want to do is at least give discretion to the judges to say, you know what, this is a kid, he never been in trouble before, he got a little bit of weed, let me give him 6 months instead of giving him 6 years. Judge couldn't do that before. Judge couldn't have that discretion. You could be your first opportunity, your first screw up. You could have been the guy who was holding the weed for the crew. You and your boys out at night, having a good time. You're 18, 19 years old. Out having a good time. You smoking some weed. You got some weed. Cops roll up on you, pull you over, because there's 5 of you in a car, which obviously makes you suspicious if you're someone of color. And you're the one who hold the weed, and you're the one who gets 6 years. Or whatever it is. The judge didn't even get to look at the fact that you were on the honor roll, that you had never been in trouble before, or that you were a good kid for the most part, that you come from a good family. And that's it. You gone. Because you come from a poor family, a good family, but a poor family, they can't provide you with a good defense. They can't hire the best lawyers to get you out of it. So no, once again, let me say it again, guys. I'm not saying it couldn't happen to a white kid. What I'm saying is he probably don't get pulled over to begin with. And if the white kid doesn't get pulled over to begin with, what doesn't happen? He doesn't get locked up to begin with. He doesn't have that issue. And then maybe by the time he's smarter and older, he doesn't travel with weed because he realizes how stupid it is. And how many of us have done stupid things we did not get caught for? If we got caught for every stupid thing we did, nobody'd be free. Everybody goes through things as they grow up. Everybody does the wrong thing at the wrong time or something. No one's an angel, right? Let's go back to numbers and facts, guys. Let's do it. 1 in 6 black men had been incarcerated as of 2001. 1 in 6 black men have been incarcerated in 2001. As of 2001, if current trends continue, 1 in 3 black males born today can expect to spend time in prison during his lifetime. 1 in 100 African American women are in prison. See, there are a lot of people who don't understand or choose not to understand prison for profit. They don't get it. They don't get it. They think, oh, it's just for the good. It's the good of all of us. Oh, it's for the greater good to protect us from the evil people. Half of these people I'm talking about didn't commit a violent crime. And I got an argument for that too. All right. So now you know what this show is going to be about tonight, right? It's going to be about criminal justice reform. Why it's necessary, what you need to say to the bigots who question you when you bring up the topic, who tell you, well, that's what they get because they shouldn't commit crimes. Talking points that you can use when you're dealing with those assholes out there in the real world who want to tell you that they heard something on the Stormfront website, or someone told them something, or there's some cooning ass black people who think all of the people who ever get in trouble are just the worst black people on the planet. When in reality, it's typically just poor people in a cycle of poverty. We're going to talk about poverty too. We're going to talk about all these things. We're going to talk about how prisons create poverty. That it costs 25% of the money they spend locking you up, they could have put a drug user through rehab, but they won't do it. Why, if it's cheaper to rehabilitate drug users, why aren't we rehabilitating them instead of locking them up? Huh? Why? If it's cheaper, come on guys, if it's all about saving money, right? If it's cheaper to rehabilitate a drug user who's hooked on crack or hooked on heroin or hooked on pharmaceuticals, why aren't we rehabilitating them? Why aren't we putting them through drug therapy if it's cheaper? Why are we deciding not to do that? Huh? All right, my number is 323-870-4064. Oh, I got facts out the ass tonight, and I'm going to spill it. Forget spilling tea, I'm dumping out the vodka. Spilling no damn tea. I'm a grown-ass man. I don't spill tea. I speak truth, and I shoot verbal bullets. All right. Let me go see who's live. Let's go see who tuned in today. Let me go holler. Oh, I got my calls. My people are here. My people are in the house. The lovely Joy and the intelligent Joy. What's up, lady?
Hello, Mr. Tim Black.
Hello.
This is prison industrial complex, and our United States government is down with it. They have lobbyists that pay your congressman and your senator and, yes, your president and everybody else to make sure that big business, which is prison, stays like it is right now today. Clinton has admitted this out of his own mouth, saying that, yes, I signed a bill into law that unjustly targeted black and brown men. Clinton stated this out of his own mouth. This thing is real, big money, big money. Now, as far as what Obama did, bless his heart for showing up. But stop playing with people's lives. If you have the power to do something, do something. Don't just show up. We know what you look like. We've seen your suits. Don't just show up. Make this better. Make this better. Do what you have the power to do. None of this is by accident. This, like you said, Mr. Black, this is not by accident. This is big money. And then we have good old Jeb Bush, who kept black people from voting when he wanted his brother to be reelected. So what do we take away from the black and brown people who have been incarcerated for little to nothing? What white boys get slapped on the wrist for? What rich folks get a slap on the wrist for and get to go continue on living their lives? What do we take away from those black and brown men? We take away the right to vote.
To vote. To
yes,
vote.
Sir.
To
yes,
vote.
Sir.
I want to make one correction, Joy, not for you, for me. When I stated earlier about the drug usage in America, let me say this, Joy. About 14 million
yes.
whites, and 2.6 million African Americans report using an illicit drug. 5 times as many whites are using drugs as African Americans, yet African Americans are sent to prison for drug offenses at 10 times the rate of whites. So when you hear these people on YouTube and on these shows and these conservative jackasses with platforms telling you that people in jail deserve to be in jail, you quote them this statistic. 10 times as many blacks in jail for using drugs than whites, even though whites use it at a clip of what? 14 million to 2.6 million. Just wanted to clear that up.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to add this, and I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
There are two police officers. I think they come out of the Baltimore police officers, and they were talking about what goes on behind the scenes.
Yes.
And these officers said that when we patrol rich white neighborhoods, that's not where we arrest. We go to the poor neighborhoods and make our quota, because they have a quota to make. Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you for being here. We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you. Quota. I'm going to keep it going. We got callers. Let me take the callers while I got them. Thank you for holding on. This is Tim Black, you live. Who's this?
It's Chris, man. You talking about my subject tonight.
There you go, Chris. What's up, man? You go ahead. Tell me what you feel, bro.
Being a white man, hold on now. Joyce told half my mojo about the prisons and being an industrial complex. That is true. They get paid to fill beds. On the other hand now, being a white man and coming up, you know, my mom and dad weren't rich. You know, I come from a broken home anyway. Saying this, I smoked weed damn near my whole life. I've been pulled over and arrested for weed. And I pled guilty to it, and I got 6 months probation, okay? I learned my lesson. On saying that, I learned my lesson, Tim, and I never ride dirty after that. I never go out of the house with weed. My guy used to deliver it to my home till I quit. He brought it to me. So in saying that, like I said, 75% of my friends are black. These guys are just knuckleheads from top to bottom. They never learned their lesson, and I have friends that are habitual offenders driving on suspended license. They continue to do so, even though their dad used to be a cop. They never learned their damn lesson. They spend more time in jail than they have outside of jail. I have guys ride with nickel sacks of weed, constantly getting caught with weed. They do 101 days in the county jail for it. I don't know what the laws are in other states, but here it's not that big a deal. You go to Tampa and get a ticket, but you come into my county, and we have a sheriff here that doesn't fuck around. You get caught with anything, a seed in your car, paraphernalia, you'll go to jail for 30 days, 101 days, that's depending on how many times you've been caught. But these guys, some of those stats are because people don't learn their lesson. You know what I'm saying? They just continue to be a knucklehead and ride dirty constantly.
You're right, Chris. You're right, man. There is a certain level of responsibility we got to take, man. We got to take personal responsibility for our actions. We can't say, okay, the system's set up, and then I'm just going to say, fuck it, you know, and then complain. I mean, you got to be smarter. Like you say, Chris, you got to be smarter. This is your life. Even though I'm right when I say that they're preying on poor people, right? They're preying on...
damn right they are.
You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean you make it easy for them by doing exactly what they want you to do, which is bring your ass in the system.
I think a lot of it has to do with common sense, though. You know what I mean? You got to have some type of common sense about yourself when you're doing dirty shit, you know?
Right.
So I just had to chime in on it.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you, bro.
All right.
Chris. Hey, you live with Tim Black. Who's this?
Hey, Tim. I got a story for you.
Okay. Where you calling from?
Arkansas.
All right, okay, so this is a serious topic. We're not playing around today, right?
Nope.
Okay, what you got?
Ed?
Lisa?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Wait 1 second. So, my neighbor was caught smoking weed one day, and the cops came to his house. So, I was over there playing with his son, and, well, basically what I heard from it was, you do that again, I throw your ass under the prison. So, basically, yeah.
Okay. But he gave him a break?
Well, they gave him a break, yeah.
Gave him a break. Well, that's good. They gave him a break, man, because the way I see it, weed, someone smoking marijuana, though it may be against the law, is only against the law so they can lock you up. Cigarettes are much more harmful. So I'm glad they gave your friend's father a break. I am very glad.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for calling up, man.
So,
Okay?
you're welcome.
All right. Take care of yourself. All right. Thought it was going to be a troll call. He actually had a story. He said, so, okay. Look, hey, look, guys. Hey, I'm not saying, look, that's another thing. I'm not saying that every time there's an officer who won't give you a break. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that every officer is a Klan member. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like Joy says, there are quotas to meet, right? There are things they are told to do. There are numerous videos of police officers, ex-police officers, on YouTube that you can look up, where the officer will be telling you himself, look, man, this is what they told me I had to do. This is what we did in our department. For some reason, though, there are all of these people who have platforms who don't discuss it. Okay? I'll do a story. I'll do a show that's fun and light, but I bring it back. And we gotta keep it real. Hey, you live with Tim Black. Who is this?
Hey, you got me, Tim?
Hey, who's this?
Hawks.
Hawks, what's up, my friend? Hawk, I know you know about this subject, man. You know we were just talking about some of the stuff, the crap you've been through. What say you, Hawk? What's up?
All right, last year I was giving away a greenhouse. I get an email from this guy that says, hi, my name is Jeff Brand. I used to be the chief of police assaultant, and I really didn't give a shit if he was the ex-chief of police assaultant. I asked him if he wanted the greenhouse, and I gave him my address. He proceeded to come over, and I guess because I didn't care that he came to my house, I guess he figured I was a cop lover. And because I'm white, I guess he figured he could just tell me whatever he thought he could say, and I wouldn't tell anybody else. Well, what he fucking did is he proceeded to tell me how he's not allowed to train people to racially profile, but he is absolutely allowed to class profile. In other words, if your car is old, if your car has a rusty spot or something like that, he said straight up, you are more likely to have something else wrong in that car, maybe a lack of insurance, maybe no driver's license or something else, that's going to get you in trouble. So he trains people to this day to pull those type of people over. And I proceeded to listen to him and his little thing about him thinking he was a good cop. And then I asked him, when he was finally done, I asked him, well, how many criminals have you created over the years? And he said, excuse me, what do you mean? And I says, well, all right, you go ahead and pull over some guy that's struggling. He's got a $500 car he had to buy so he could get to his job. You know, maybe he's only been at his job a couple of months. He can't afford car insurance yet. And he's got to still be able to get to that job every single day. But no, now you pulled him over, and now you gave him a big old $500 ticket for not having no insurance, which he's probably not going to be able to pay because now he's afraid to drive his car through town. And now he can't get to his job. Okay, so when he doesn't pay that no insurance ticket, now he gets his license suspended. But hey, he's probably still got kids. He's probably still got bills to pay. He's got shit he needs to do. He's got to get a fucking job. Now, how is he supposed to get to work when he's afraid to drive through town, when he doesn't have a driver's license that he can't pay the ticket for to get it back? And what happens when you don't pay that ticket? Now you end up going to jail. Okay, so now you've lost your job. You get to go to jail for a ticket you can't pay. When you do get out, you have to pay that ticket. You have to start paying on it at least $25 a month, or they're just going to put you right back in jail. But now you're stuck having to go get work on a bus line or something like that. You know, maybe you live in an area where you're not able to get to a bus line, or you're not capable of walking to a bus line.
Right.
You know, what's your alternatives after that?
Right.
You know, one of the first alternatives people go to is the black market. They start selling shit that other people can't get. You know? Right. And so these fucking cops, when they pull you over for doing something like that, for doing just driving your fucking car down the road, they create a criminal by causing problems for you that they didn't have to do. They could get their quota no problem by pulling over rich people, but they don't want to do that because they know that they can get 5, 6 things if they pull over a poor person. But if they pull over a rich person, they're like, oh, well, these guys don't care anyways.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You know what I'm saying, man?
Absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely do.
Dude, he didn't understand what he'd done wrong.
Yeah.
You know, this cop really didn't understand what he'd done wrong.
Tunnel vision. Tunnel
And I
vision.
tried to, yeah, man, I tried to explain to him, and he didn't get it.
Don't get it. Dude, I'm going to get into that a little bit later about how prisons create criminals. Prison creates
so does
criminals. The average person has no idea what it's like behind bars. They have no idea. Just think these people, it's sort of like the people who think, oh, I saw this parent hit his kid. He hit his kid. I'm calling CPS. I'm calling Child Protective Services because I'm sure they got this great facility where they monitor all the kids. So when they come take the child from the dad in a stable environment, they're going to put them in this angelic setting. When in reality, most of the foster homes they go to, they don't have the means to check up on these kids. You're taking them from one situation where people actually loved them.
Yeah, there's like 9 kids.
Right. From a situation where they were loved, maybe the dad needs some parenting help, but now you put them in a situation with some hardened kids who've been in a system. A horrible situation. And that's the same thing with prisons. People think, oh, they go to jail, you get what you got. You get what you got coming. They have no idea what's going on in these jails, Hawk. None. And they don't want to know. Because then
Slavery never ended in America, Tim.
there you go.
It never ended.
It never ended, dog. It never ended.
Straight up. They made it legal that if they pay you a wage, you're not a slave. So even if they pay you 5 cents an hour, you're still not a slave.
Yep. And that's exactly what they did.
And the only thing that law did is it took one class of people that were straight up called slaves out in the open, and it made slaves out of absolutely everybody else that was poor.
That's right.
That's what it did.
That's exactly what it did. Thank you, Hawk.
All right.
All right, bro. I gotta
Have a good one, man.
You too, Hawk. Thanks
Bye.
for calling up, Hawk. Check this out. There's a story I ran across in Miami. 5 Miami jail officers fired for bribing incarcerated teens to brutally assault each other. It's right on the topic of what Hawk was expressing. Listen, 4 days after being arrested this past August, teenager Elord Wavoti left the Miami lockup on a stretcher beaten to a bloody pulp by as many as 20 other incarcerated teens. He died with too many injuries to name here. Now, we just learned that 5 officers, including supervisors, inside the jail have been fired for falsifying reports and bribing kids with drinks and snacks to brutally beat one another. They were having Fight Club in the jail. Teenagers. Then you say, why are all these kids coming out? Why are these kids violent? Why are these kids doing this? Why do these kids keep going back to jail? This kid, for whatever reason, was in this institution. Probably for something low level. All of them probably. They're fighting one another at the behest of the officers in the jail. You beat him up, I'll give you extra cookies. You beat him up, I'll give you a extra taco. This kid died. 5 officers. You can look this up. You can look this up yourself. Big story in Miami right now. Why didn't you hear about it? I don't know. Because right now everybody wants to talk great about cops as if there aren't any bad cops. Now all of a sudden people want to tone down the rhetoric. But this is what's happening. This isn't just cops. This is prison guards. This is what's going on in the prisons. In the prisons, people can go in on something very lightweight. And then the environment that they deal with inside makes them much worse. That's the point of that story. That's what Hawk's trying to tell you. In Ferguson, I watched the documentary. Once again, look, all this information is out there. Anybody who wants to take time to look it up, please do. Right? I don't have the rights to just grab all the content and play it through my video. Got to be careful of that. I want my channel to grow. I don't want YouTube to shut me down. They will, I'm too small for that. Other channels, big channels can get away with stuff I can't get away with. The bottom line is this. In Ferguson, a lot of people don't know why the Ferguson residents hated Ferguson cops so much. A lot of people don't get it. Why are these people rioting? They hate the cops. You know why? Because Ferguson's this big. And it's got like 5 different jurisdictions of cops sitting on top of it, all trying to generate revenue from the residents in Ferguson. 5. And the reason why that Mike Brown, part of the reason Mike Brown's situation even occurred is that they were trying to grab Mike Brown. See, they give tickets to people in the hood for walking in the street in Ferguson. No one talked about that. Part of the reason why he tried to avoid Darren Wilson was that there was a ticket associated with walking in the street. There are citations they give you in Ferguson. Just driving down the block can get you pulled over by 3 different people for an out tail light. 3 different jurisdictions. There's a documentary on it. Look it up on YouTube. I don't want to get into the whole Mike Brown debate. I do, I've made countless videos on it. What I'm saying is, it's a feeding frenzy, right? It's a feeding frenzy. In order to stay productive, in order to stay active on your police force, you must meet the mandatory minimums. You must meet your quotas. There are quotas to be met. Also, there are jurisdictions which prey on poor people. Like Hawk said, poor people, pushing them through the system. Poor people, fining them, taking away their vehicles. People who can't afford it. You driving to work, you get 1 ticket from one cop jurisdiction, you got to cut through another, you go another 2 blocks, you in another county, they pull you over for the same shit the last guy did, another pull you over, now you got 3 warrants or 3 citations. If you miss, the tickets double and quadruple on your ass. You end up in jail. Very simply, you lose your job because you can't go to work and be in jail. Do you get it? That's what's happening. This is what's happening. People do not talk about it. Oh, they talk about The Walking Dead. They talk about new Mission Impossible movie. They'll talk about what Trump said. What about the real things that are going on in our world? What's going on in the United States? All right, so let's go back to some facts, Tim. Tim, give me more facts. Oh, I love your facts, Tim. Shoot me up with some facts. Give me some more facts right here. All right. You want to hear some more about drugs since we're talking so much about drugs? Okay. Because whether you like it or not, if a person's using drugs, I mean, we're not talking about we're not talking about the big deal of Tony Montana, your cockroaches. First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the woman. We're not talking about people on Tony Montana's level. Right now, I'm just talking about drug users. Okay, check this out. African Americans represent 12% of the total population of drug users. African Americans represent 12% of the total population of drug users, but 38% of those arrested for drug offenses. Get it? 3 times. 59% of those in state prison for drug offense. 59% of the people that are in prison for drugs are black. But they only represent 12% of the people that do drugs. That admit to doing drugs, okay? That's the best. That's the closest we can get to, guys. They're preying on the population. See, the reason why I'm doing this show and the reason why I'm so livid is that I got to keep hearing people say stuff like, Tim, but why black people take care of their families? And Tim, why they keep going to jail? And it's almost as if they're assigning lawlessness with blackness. Lawlessness with color. And they totally missed the point about how these people end up in these situations. They got pulled over because they were driving an old car. Sorry, they couldn't afford a better one. Do you realize what Hawk said? The cop said we pull people over because they look poor. And meaning they're going to have more stuff wrong with their stuff. You would think they'd want to pull over the rich guy. He can afford to pay. No, they don't want you to pay. Get it? They don't want you to pay. Why? They want you to go through the process. They want to rack up as many points like a video game. You're racking up points on your ass like a video game. And here's the other thing I want to bring up. They also say, what about the kids? See how this all works? How can dad work, right, and take care of the family if dad in jail, dumbass? Oh, I never thought about that. I just thought they just dropping babies and leave just because. Look, and look, since 1980, the sudden spike in people in jail, those people had to come from homes. They came from homes. They came from the dating world. Like, there are men in jail who are not there to marry the women. Get it? So you got, and there are men in jail who have not been able to be fathers to their sons, who grow up without fathers at home, which only exasperates the problem. I talk to my son because I'm here. But if I wasn't here, if I was in jail for some low-level drug offense, right, who would tell him? His mom? It ain't the same thing. I love them. Love moms, but moms are not the same thing as dads. We all have a role. And then I say, they are preying on me. I escaped. They caught my friends, though. I have friends that went to jail. Okay? I have friends who died in the streets. I know of which I speak. We'll come back to that, too. So we'll talk about poverty and how it relates to prison. If you're watching this on Blog Talk Radio or if you're getting this on Stitcher, call in to 323-870-4064 if you want to join the conversation. I have an image I want to show my people. Because it tells it, it says it better than I can tell it. Our kids deserve more. Passed the Sentencing Reform and Corrections Act. 1 in 28 children in America grow up with a parent in prison. I wonder what that would be if you broke it down to ethnic group. Huh? 1 in 28 children grow up with a parent in prison. Let's do some stuff. Let's talk about poverty, guys. Let's talk about the poverty point of it. All right? Why are so many Americans, now this was in there, I think this is the New York Times. Why are so many American families trapped in poverty? Prison and the poverty trap, folks. Listen, of all the explanations offered by Washington's politicians and economists, one seems particularly obvious in the low-income neighborhoods near the Capitol, because there are so many parents like Carl Harris and Charlene Hamilton. Then it goes into the story of Charlene and Carl. It says, for most of their daughter's childhood, Mr. Harris didn't come close to making the minimum wage. His most lucrative job as a crack dealer ended at the age of 24 when he left Washington to serve 2 decades in prison. 20 years in prison. Well, it's easy. Just don't deal crack. Isn't that what you're going to say? Excuse me. Isn't that what you're going to say, guys? Just don't deal crack. What if you're in a situation where you have to feed your family and you lost your job? I'm not saying it's the best solution because we know it's illegal, right? Right? We know it's illegal. But what if you feel that the only way you can survive at that moment is to do something illegal? Should a person be locked up for 20 years for it? I mean, come on, guys. There are people who kill people who don't get 20 years. There are people who... I did a story of a kid who killed 5 people. He didn't do a day in jail. Not a day in jail. This guy deals coke, sells people something they want to buy. He didn't manufacture it. He didn't grow it. He didn't bring it in the country. He's just a low-level guy selling it. 20 years of his life. What about the family he left behind? What about the family he left behind? His $1.15 per hour prison wage didn't cover the bills for the phone calls and marathon bus trips to visit him. Struggling to pay rent and food, Miss Hamilton ended up homeless a couple of times. This is poverty. This is how it happens. This is part of the poverty cycle. We get locked up for doing small things. Gone forever. Gone forever from the child's life. Gone forever to being able to provide for the family. Gone forever. One parent left struggling, trying to make the bills match, trying to come up with the bills, trying to pay the rent. That's why we cannot fall into the trap. And yes, like Chris said, responsibility, we got to take responsibility. We got to take responsibility. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. The system would have ate me too if it could have. I just was lucky enough to get away. But the system will eat any of us. It's time for reform. Bipartisan measure, a bipartisan bill has been enacted to change it, to give judges the opportunity to say, you know what? This kid's never done a violent crime in his life. I'm not going to sentence him to 20 years. He didn't shoot anybody. He's not out raping children, setting fires. He didn't blow up the World Trade Center. He sold some drugs. That's all he did. You know people are fighting that legislation? They're fighting it. They're fighting it tooth and nail. They want those people to stay in jail. They want the complex to continue growing. Now, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to take money, taxpayers' money? Remember, guys, what I told you, right? It's cheaper to rehabilitate a drug user than it is to incarcerate them. In fact, it's 4 times more expensive to incarcerate them than it is to rehabilitate them. Get them off drugs. Why aren't they doing that? Come on, man. I know my people are smart. Meerkat, are my people on Meerkat smart? Do you guys figure that out? Hold on. 323-870-4064. I think people got some ideas about why they'd rather not get you off drugs, but just lock you up and then send you out and watch you come back. I mean, I think most of us, I hope I didn't just give away the answer, but I'm thinking most of y'all already knew that. But if you got opinions on that, please call up. I already know this is going to be a horrible story with Carl and Charlene. Maybe let me jump ahead a little bit further. Check it out. Among African Americans who have grown up during the era of mass incarceration, 1 in 4 has had a parent locked up at some point during childhood. Do you hear what I'm saying? Let me say it again. Sometimes I get excited, get too loud, start talking too fast. Look, among African Americans who have grown up during the era of mass incarceration, 1 in 4 has had a parent locked up at some point during their childhood. 1 in 4. These are real people. This is not make-believe people. In the make-believe world of lollipops and unicorns and great fish and cotton candy clouds and no. In the real world, these are real people. A father that's not there, a mother that's not there, the income that's not there, the child raised without the influence of a dad. You see the cycle now? Yes, Chris, these people who go back and forth and love goes back and back and back and forth, back and back and back and forth, back and back and back and forth. My love goes. Yes, they have a responsibility for going back and back and back and forth. You got to fight the beast with all you got, but let's not. You know what? Hey, in the neighborhood where I grew up, there was this dog named Queenie. Queenie was a big Doberman. No. Queenie was a German Shepherd. Big Queenie. When I was a little kid, I was like 5, Chase's age. And Queenie would get out the gate all the time, Big Queenie. And Queenie would run and chase people, right? I'm 5, 6 years old, right? Now, If Queenie caught you and bit you, yeah, maybe your ass shouldn't have been near Queenie's house because you know how Queenie get down. You know Queenie love jumping that fence. And stop taunting Queenie because she will jump the fence and chase your ass. But Queenie should have been on a leash, right? Right? The owner should have had him trained. Domesticated his punk ass or her. Right? Should have domesticated Queenie. Kids shouldn't have their limbs scratched and shouldn't be scared for their lives, peeing on themselves, running down the street from Queenie. Not in a civilized world. Somebody should knock on that door and tell Queenie's parents or owners, get a better chain. Here goes the chain, dumbass. Lock up your damn dog or bring your dog in the house. Dog jumped the fence, could have bit my child. So all this bill is doing is saying, you know what? Put your damn Queenie on a leash, America. All right? Stop letting your damn prison industrial complex chew up our young people, chew up our families, chew up the family structure. You keep saying, why are the families this way? You got your Adam Carollas, you got your Jeff Rogans, you got all these people talking all this shit. Okay, yeah, that's the situation. Oh, why is this place so messy? Well, let's rewind before you came in the room. Oh, it was a window open and it blew all the papers around. That's why it's messy. You want to talk about what blew the papers around? No, you just want to talk about the mess you see. They just keep talking about the plight. But no one's talking about how it became the plight. No one's talking about the money that's being made. And they're not that stupid to not know. Come on, these guys have to know this is big business. Why isn't that part of the joke, Louis C.K.? Why isn't that part of the joke with your nigga Jim joke? Why isn't that part of your joke, Louis? You know how the prison industrial complex, George Carlin would talk about it. Damn, I miss George Carlin. I miss Richard Pryor. They don't shoot cars, they shoot niggas. Damn, I miss real comedians. I miss them. I miss them. They would say something. They wouldn't just stay on the punchline. They would try to feed you something that meant something of value, that taught people something, that opened the eyes of the aloof, who never understand until it's them. Let me tell you something. Being in jail can mentally damage a person. Solitary confinement is real. It will drive you psychopathic. They are locking up these kids. You got to think about it from you know what, let's get off that. Let's go on a safety standpoint of this, all right? I need to check my phone lines. Hold on. Make this last point, then I'm going to check my phone lines. Think about the psychological damage to these people. You never really did anything to anyone. Not really. You sold a little bit of, say you sold some crack, so what? You know what, you sold some crack, you got 20 years. Do you really think the guy that went in for selling crack 20 years ago comes out the same guy? Do you really think that? Do you think the people, the desperate nature, the hate, the frustration, the overcrowded state of our justice system, of our prisons, physically stacked on one another, just like a slave boat. Do you think the people that come from that, and when they let them out, they hurt people? They're more violent when they come out than when they went in. You better believe it. You better believe. That's part of the problem. That's part of what you see in the Chicagos and the Detroits and the Baltimores. That's part of the problem, is they have been in the system. They went in that system, had to fight gladiator style in those fucking systems. And they come out. And they are hardened at this point. Hardened. Rehabilitation. All they're doing is incarcerating people. Let me jump over, man. Gosh. He says, ironic that he sympathizes with the criminals, but not with the victims of the crimes that caused them to be jailed to begin with. We're not talking about people. Listen, let me put you on the spot, Jack Blackmail. I'm Jay Blackmail. I'm not talking about axe murderers. I'm talking about people who sold drugs. And even a person who did the wrong thing deserves to be rehabilitated. You can't lock people up forever and make them work. You think this is about protecting you? Are you that brainwashed? Where have you been, sir? You think they lock people up for you? America don't care about you, dummy. No one gives a fuck about you. If they did, they wouldn't let you buy a fucking Big Mac, dumbass. They wouldn't sell you a Big Mac. No one gives a fuck about you. No one gives a fuck about your kids, dumbass. They care about money. Money. They lock him up because it's advantageous. Someone stole your car. Oh, boo-hoo. I hate that shit too, but you know what? The person who stole that car did so probably not to get rich, bitch. I'm rich, bitch. Did it probably because they're poor as fuck, which is by design. Maybe they didn't have daddy. Why? Because daddy got locked up for selling drugs. It's a cycle. I'm not talking about rapists and murderers. I come down on them all the time. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about kids who stole some shit, who gets sent to one of these fucking gladiator academies, who comes out 10 times worse than when he fucking went in. You as an African American should fucking know something before you open your fucking mouth. Don't give a fuck if you never come back. Don't you tell me what the fuck I'm talking about. They're throwing away young people. They took their fathers and they're throwing the offspring of those kids in jail for money. It's not to help you. Bitch, America has less crime than it's had in the last 30 years right now. Right now. We're at a low. There are less murders, less homicides, less rapes, less everything. Jay Blackmail. You think they got jails to help you? No, jail was never to help you, Jay. Jail was never to keep you safe. It is window dressing to make money. Where the hell have you been? You think it's to help you. You think America does shit to help you. You fuckhead. Fuckhead. Fuck. Jay is under. You need to call me up, Jay. Redeem yourself, sir. You think America does this to help you? Oh no, they just really want to help me and keep me safe. No one gives a fuck about you, sir. No one cares if your wife gets raped, dumbass. No one cares if your car's parked outside. Dude, if you report that your car's stolen, no one even fucking looks. No one gives a shit, sir. I'm sorry. They don't. They'll make more of you. More of me. They don't care about your safety. If they did, they would have legalized weed and removed cigarettes from them. Nobody cares about you. You can't be that dim. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. Mercat, I'm sorry. I can't believe a black man could be that delusional and thinking you're black, dude. Nobody gives a fuck about you, not your government. You a number. The only reason why you not a number is you were probably lucky enough to have a fucking family and not get caught doing something as if you never did nothing in your fucking life that could be punishable by being incarcerated. Like they say, I ain't a religious person, though I consider myself somewhat spiritual. Therefore, the grace of God, go he or I, or however it goes. Forget that say. Gotta calm down, man. You pissed me off, man. You made assumptions because I disagree. No, you made a stupid statement, sir. You made a stupid statement, sir. Call me and clear it in. Clear it up. Don't tell me about what about the victims? Dude, we creating more psychos. We're creating killers by putting them in the system. Where do you think they came from? Or do you think those kids in Chicago were born bad? See, you can't have it both ways, man. Listen to me. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I called you a shithead. I'm sorry I called you a fucking idiot. You're not. You're ignorant. Do you think that those kids in Chicago are inherently bad? Then how'd they get that way, sir? Where'd all those gangs come from? Prison! 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 And why did they come from prison? Money! Money! People celebrate, look, it's part of the self-hate shit, right? Part of the reason why people say, you probably want people to say, well, black people celebrate black people going to jail than they do going to college. You know what that is? Black people know how dangerous it is in jail. They celebrate people coming home from jail, not going. No one's happy someone goes to jail. Who the fuck? Anybody can go to college and come home. You ain't gonna die. Typically, you're not gonna die in college. There's some bad hazing going on, but most likely you won't. But you can die in prison, sir. That's what they're celebrating, that you made it out of that motherfucker. I'm not saying there's not ignorant people, Jay. I'm not saying that. We agree there are some bad people. There are. But I'm talking about prisons right now. I'm talking about prisons for profit. People who did something this little and made it, and the punishment was this big in proportion for money, sir. I'm not talking about somebody defacing your fucking lawn. I've had people steal from me. I hate that shit. I hate crime. I hate crime. And if somebody ever pulls a gun on you, if you got a gun, shoot their ass. If someone breaks in your house, shoot their ass. Sorry, they'll learn in the next life. I'm not saying that, Jay. You got me fucked up. You say I made an assumption based on your comment. You make an assumption about me. I'm not soft on crime, but I'm proportional, sir. I've done stories of rich white people who got no time for killing motherfuckers. And they give a guy fucking basketball numbers, dude, for selling coke, crack. When a lot of people sold crack in the 80s, dude, that was the shit to do for poor people. They were poor by design. If you don't buy into the concept that this shit is designed, then we can't have a conversation because you're not informed on any of the topics. You got to find this. You got to get this information. You got to get it. You got to listen to it. I can't be funny all the fucking time, man. We have to listen. We must know what we're up against if we are to defeat the shit. Oh, shit, what is that? I don't know. It's something. We got to identify the beast so we can slay that motherfucker. When I say the beast, I mean the system that's destroying and eating us and chewing us up and spitting us out. Kajim Powell. They said he stole a fucking book bag, sir. A book bag. He committed suicide 6 months ago. No one watched my video because it wasn't funny. I didn't dance in the motherfucker. No one watched it. Put my heart and soul in that video. This guy sat in jail for what, year? Before even going to court. The guy who said, I think you stole my book bag, recanted his story. It wasn't even true. He was in jail for nothing. Then he's in jail fighting for his life. Then he ended up on all types of brain-altering drugs because of the shit he went through in jail. He took his life last year. These things happen. He represents all the other people who have been through this. I'm passionate. I don't hate you. I'm passionate about this stuff. Let me look and see somebody could be calling right now. There are. I'm sorry.
Hello, sir.
Hey, Joy, get me off the ledge. I'm on the ledge. I need your help.
In the beginning, Mr. Black said non-violent offenses. So when they catch you in your car with a little bit of weed or a joint or something like that, there is no victim. There's no victim. We're talking about non-violent offenses. We are talking about people who have smoked weed, which is legal in a lot of places right now. But we're talking about putting someone who has smoked weed and done nothing else, and we put them in a prison system with hardened criminals. These men are getting raped. Now, you tell me a man that has smoked some weed is put into the prison system for 10 years, having to fight for his damn manhood, may lose, and then you take him out and say, go make a go of it, damn it. This young man is not going to be the same. Non-violent offenses. We're not talking about somebody who's out there killing people. We're not talking about rapists. We're talking about this person being caught with a little bit of weed, little bit of cocaine, little bit of what have you. This is non-violent offenses, and they're putting them into the system because of money. Money. They're putting your bodies into the system because they need your body for free labor. That's it. That's all, baby. It's legal slavery. Let's not get this thing twisted. You're not living in a fairy tale. This is the United States of America. You have a television. You have the internet. You have no right to be this damn naive. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joy. Black people are tried, imprisoned disproportionately. They suffer the consequence of the death penalty disproportionately. Rich white people don't get the death penalty very often. And most of these are victimless crimes. Sometimes people can use drugs and get arrested 3 times and never committed a violent act, and they can go to prison for life. Sometimes people can use drugs and get arrested 3 times, never committed a violent act, and end up going to prison for life. I made a post today on Twitter that some people thought was very interesting, and I said there's a picture of Obama. I'm gonna share it with my people here. Let me share it. If you're on Blog Talk Radio, please come check out this version. Check out the video version just so you can see some of the crazy pictures that I have. They make the experience more engrossing. Damn it. 1 second. Come on, don't make me search for you. I got people here waiting. I got company. You son of a, you no good. Here we go. Found it. Okay, got it. In poor areas, mass shootings happen almost daily. And President Obama, Republicans and Democrats alike, seem to sleep just fine. Get it? See? I tweeted that today. I just want people to know where I stand on some of these things. And Joy saw it on Instagram. I also tweeted it, Joy. Thank you for retweeting me. Follow me on Instagram and let's get some more facts out there. Let me try to further persuade the guys out there. I should stop beating up on these people. Let me want to talk more about poverty traps. Want to talk more about what they did to the teens in the Miami juvenile facility, where the prison guards were making them fight for food, withholding food and feeding them only if they fought. Like animals. What they, like Mike Vick did, but to people. My God, man. You can believe this. Oh, shit. Sometimes it was for payback. Other times it appears the officer did it just as a cruel, cheap form of entertainment. Whatever the case, officers are literally using $1 honey buns to entice kids to beat and kill one another. In a deeply disturbing special report from Colonel Marvin Miller of the Miami Herald, many human rights violations are detailed. The Miami Herald first learned of the alleged connection between honey buns and beatings to a reporter, the day Elord died, when his short-term foster mother described the practice in detail to a reporter, who then asked the public defenders in Miami-Dade and Broward counties if they were aware of it. Listen, the next day an assistant public defender told Osborne, his boss, that detainees at the Miami lockup, most of whom were represented by her office, had disclosed being offered honey buns by guards looking for someone to hurt another detainee. When I asked the lawyer why honey buns, he stated, these kids are incarcerated, so they don't get anything like that in here. And here, a honey bun is like $1 million, Osborne told the Herald. The system was so horrific that when any of the kids even thought of speaking out, guards let them know that it might have lethal consequences and repercussions for them as well. I will put a honey bun on your head if you don't do what I say, one detainee quoted a guard to his lawyer. Sometimes it's Skittles. It's not always honey buns. Sometimes it's Snickers. If they really want a child hurt, if they really want to ensure a kid will do it, the big treat is any kind of fast food, like a cheeseburger. So they'll bring food in, like, stuff kids like. I bring a Whopper in. You beat that guy, you beat him. I don't want him moving. I want his leg broke. I'll bring you a Whopper in if you do it. You don't do it, I'll get somebody to beat your ass for some fries. This really happens. We're creating more animals. We're creating animals. We're creating animals, not more animals. We are creating animals. We're turning kids, we're turning people who did stupid shit, right? Something stupid, into killers. What of the kid who survives the beating, who doesn't die, who does he now become? Then he gets out in 2 years. Do you see where I'm coming from, Jay? He gets out in 2 years. Or 5 years, or whenever he gets out. One day he gets out, and he sees your punk ass. Your right-wing ass walking down the street. Or the prison gang he joined to stay alive, he comes back into when he gets out. And they banging on some fools on the fucking corner. And your daughter gets shot. Thousands of mass shootings are ignored because their deaths don't serve a political agenda. Look, the reason why they're able to do this with the prisons, you might wonder, why they get away with it? Why Tim Black? Why Americat? Why Americat people? Holler at me. The reason why? Fellas can't vote. Typically, they're poor people, right? No influence, no political influence. They're easily demonized in the media. They're easily depicted as the worst of society. You don't think so? Why hasn't Trump talked about it? Why hasn't Carson talked about it? Only candidate talking about it, the Democrats talk about it. I think I heard Hillary talk about it. Bernie, I know Bernie's talked about it. Prison reform. Okay. Why aren't we hearing it from I don't know, Rick Santorum? The bill that they're trying to pass, the bill marks an important step toward making our criminal justice system fairer by reducing overcrowded prison populations and giving prisoners the help they need to avoid committing future crimes. It also reflects a growing bipartisan recognition that we cannot incarcerate our way to safer communities, and that the current system too often pushes individuals into a cycle of recidivism. Going back and forth to jail. In, out, like Chris talked about. It's a hard thing to break. I think Chairman, okay. And they go into it, they can talk. Bipartisan bill. They're working together. They're working together on this. Let's hope it gets passed. And like Joy said, President Obama, if you're going to do something, do it. Don't just show up, wear your fancy suit. All that shit. I want you to get some shit done. Fuck that cool shit going on Kimmel. Get this shit done. Fix it. How many people you let out? 100? Let out 100,000. Let them out. Another thing I want to bring up, that Tom Seacrest, shout out to Tom Seacrest, alerted me to. It was a video by a channel called Real News. Obama passed a bill. Was it a bill he passed about mandatory minimums? But he did not make it retroactive. He did not make it retroactive so that the people who are already there could go home. No one talked about it. No one talked about it. No one talked about it. I have a lot of problems with Obama. I'm not going to toe no damn party line. I work for you. That's my viewers. I don't work for Obama. I don't work for the Democrats. I don't work for the Republicans. At least when I tell you, I'm being real. I don't like Obama's policies. Love the show. Love the show. Oh, the show's great. I love the horse and pony show. Hey guys, how you doing though? President Obama. Love the policy. Love the circus act. You guys want some wings? Love that shit. Love how suave he is. Love his how he's on fleek. Love how he's rocking it. Do not love the policies. Hated it. Maybe this will be Mr. Black calling in to set me straight. Tell me how wrong I am. I could be wrong. Tell me. Hey, you're live with Tim Black. Who's
Hello?
this? Yeah, you're live with Tim Black. Who's this?
This is Jay Blackmail.
Good. Go ahead, Jay Blackmail. Make your case, sir.
Well, the first thing I wanted to say is I was a bit surprised. I've been a subscriber to you for a while. I simply had a difference of opinion, and you went on a whole tirade, calling me names, getting all emotional, instead of just having a dialogue. So as far as that's concerned, I'm really surprised.
Okay.
I liked your channel.
Okay.
You've never been emotional in none of your videos.
Yes, I have.
And simply because I disagreed, you called me all kind of names.
Okay.
And everything.
I stand by the name calling. Now go ahead and make your point. Because if you believe, Jay.
So because I disagree.
No, dude.
So you're standing by it.
I stand by. Look, if you believe.
Oh wow.
If you believe, Jay. Now, look. I stand by it. If this is the case, let me see if I got you pegged.
You never asked me what I believe. You made an assumption.
Dude, you made a comment. You made a.
Disagree with you on one particular point.
You made a comment. I responded to your comment based on what I saw in your comment. That's all I got. Now, if I made an assumption incorrectly, I want you to correct me. But this is what I believe you were saying. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I stand by it. Now, this is what I read you said. This is what I took from your statement. You said he's concerned with the criminals, but not with the victims. And the whole structure of this show is talking about people who are locked up for victimless crimes. That's the whole basis, Jay, of what this show is about. It's victimless crimes. The incarceration rate, the disproportionate incarceration of black people for profit in the criminal industrial complex, for money, slave labor. And your response to that I saw was, I'm focusing only on the criminals. And I'm telling you, those young people, those people have been preyed upon by the system for money. And your response to that was, I got it wrong. I should be thinking about the poor people they sold the weed to. You know what? In my book...
Can I respond now?
Was I right about you? Was that what you meant?
Can I respond?
Go ahead. That was a question.
I'm going to answer it.
Please.
First off, I didn't turn on your channel at the very beginning of your live stream. I checked YouTube. Like I said, I'm subscribed to your channel. I noticed you were on. I noticed you were live. I listened to it for a few minutes. And when I came in, what you were talking about is criminals. You didn't specify. You said criminals. So I was listening to what you were saying about criminals. You did not specify nonviolent.
What hold on. So you
think hold on. When you were talking, I was quiet. Hold on a second. The only specific point you talked about with regard to criminals is crack dealers. You didn't say weed. You didn't say theft. You said crack dealers.
Don't matter. Same thing.
Oh, it doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter to me what kind of drugs it is.
Well, we simply have a difference of opinion.
Okay.
Because I don't know about you, but where I grew up in Detroit, a lot of crack dealers also committed crimes. Now, weed, generally people who sell weed, they don't have to resort to crime. But crack dealers, heroin sellers, generally people like that, they are also involved in crime. Now, if you want to sit here and say that, there are crack dealers who are innocent, they don't involve themselves in crime, then, we can just simply end the conversation. But the reality of it is, now, if you're only talking about fake weed sellers, then I agree. But that's not the case. So for you to jump on me without asking me my position, and you just simply assuming one thing without giving me an opportunity to clarify, that was insane. Now, again, I do not sympathize with people who are locked up, and this is why. I grew up in the 80s, okay? I was born in 77. I grew up in the 80s. I was a teen through my 1990s. We knew about the war on drugs. Nobody in here who are around 40 years old, 35 years old, can say that they did not know about the crack era. Let's be for real.
Dude, you know what? I'm not going to listen.
Farrakhan came out. They were all talking about the scam with
this
crack.
Is my show. This is my show. So listen to this. So look, I had to let him go. Look, we have a very, we're not going to agree. Yes, I stand by what I said. I believe the majority of criminals, unless they did, drugs are drugs. Drugs are drugs, Jay. You can't say, well, only if people who sold weed should give proportion. A person shouldn't have a 20-year sentence for selling crack. Shouldn't. That is appalling. It's appalling to me that a person would condone, would actually call my show. So you don't know me well enough. I must not be getting the word out. I must not be communicating effectively because you're a subscriber to me and you think that people who sell drugs, I don't care what kind of drugs it was, should get 20-year sentences? Then if someone selling drugs 3 times, they should get a life sentence. You stand by that? And you use some tired rhetoric about being in the 80s? The drug war was to lock up people. It was never to help you or I. They are preying on people. And if you if you don't understand that, then we got to part ways. You watched the wrong show. I'm the wrong guy for you. You need to go watch, there are numerous people who agree with you, who agree that a person who commits a violent act, I never said people who shoot people should get a slap on the wrist. I never said child rapist. So when I say people in jail, I'm talking about people. These people I'm talking about, drug offenses, low-level crimes. Now, the fact you cut on my show at whatever point and then comment publicly to the world stating that I'm soft on crime just because you missed what the show was about, that ain't my fault. Look at the description. It tells you what it's about. Look at the other comments in the forum. I'm not going to, I don't beg people to subscribe to my channel. My content is free, sir. You got emotional. You damn right I got emotional. People are dying, sir. In jail, dying, rotting, being turned into psychopaths, and then getting released. Joy called up and she said, men are getting raped in jail. Raped. People going into jail for small infractions, housed with hardened criminals who've been there 15, 20 years for stupid shit. And when did it happen that a person who raises their voice or shows emotion, for some reason, for certain people, I don't know. Am I supposed to be offended that you think I have emotion? Yeah. I've worked with these types of people. They think, thank you. Like that makes them better people or more intelligent or more enlightened. I worked at Fortune 100 companies, sir. All right. I've been around a lot of people. I've worked with. I'm not dropping no names. I've done my thing. I've always been me. And no, there is no way. Yeah, and I'll double down. You are devoid of facts. I read you statistic after statistic of stopping, seizing, searching, targeting poor people and poor black people in particular, and sentencing them harder and turning this situation, making people into hardened criminals for the smallest infractions. There is a bill, and it's not just me who believes this. There are six. Where are my guys at? It's a bipartisan measure. Sponsored by Senators John Cornyn of Texas, Republican. Sheldon Whitehouse, Democrat, Rhode Island. Mike Lee, Republican, Utah. Charles Schumer, Detroit, New York. Lindsey Graham, Republican, South Carolina. Patrick Leahy, Democratic, Vermont. And Cory Booker, Democrat, New Jersey, who all agree with me. They sponsored the bill to give judges the opportunity to look at a case objectively, not like you, sir, to look at a case objectively and say, you know what? This young man has never been violent. Let me not send him to jail for 20 years. Whether it was coke, heroin, meth, whatever it was. Let me not take 20 years of this young man's life. He's never laid his hands on a woman. He's never hurt a child. He's never shot anyone. He's never robbed a store. Anyone that can call up and say, I mentioned anything about violent criminals should be given, who should not have to do their sentences. Any of you can do that, call up and let me know and set me straight. I never said that. I'm fucking pissed. And you know, I could say appalled. I'm appalled that you would think such of me. No, motherfucker, I'm pissed. And I express that. That's what I do here. That's who I am. I'm not changing that for you. Go to the Advice Show. Hello, this is the Advice Show. News with a common sense approach. Go watch his born shit. Here, I put passion and fire in my stories and in my topics. I really care about them. And I know the data. I have the data points. I have the facts. It's nice to know that you think that brothers should be locked up. They make up 12% of the drug users, but make up 58% of the incarcerated. I don't know how many times I got to say that shit. You think it's okay because they know it's a war on drugs. Motherfucker, the whole world, all types of people smoke weed, but only certain ones go to jail for it. All types of people do drugs. Only certain people go to jail for it. That's the point, and it's for money. And let me get off of it. Because the people who agree, I'm preaching to the choir, and the people that don't agree, it's like talking to a brick wall. They can't hear me. God damn. Mary Cat, you're still over there? All right. Damn it. You don't have to agree with me. You don't. But don't mischaracterize what I'm saying. All right. Hope this call is fun. Be fun. I'm Tim Black. Who is this?
This is Daniel, man.
Hey, Daniel.
I love your show.
Thanks, Dan, man. I need to hear that right now, man. You think I'm too emotional? I get too excited, bro.
I think you need to calm down, man. You know, there's some people that are not going to agree with you, and they're not going to agree with you no matter what. The facts are that when you have prohibition, it doesn't work. It hasn't worked for us. And, I mean, if you can't understand that your brain just doesn't have the necessary material to process facts. You see what I'm saying? So there's no need for the emotional shit. Just, man, let them know. Let them know. It hasn't worked for us. Prohibition has not worked. Yeah.
My thing.
And, I mean, the fact is that marijuana is bringing, jobs into the states of Colorado and whatnot. There's another component besides THC in marijuana, that's CBD that cures cancers and whatnot, and you're keeping those drugs away. You had a president that issued a war on drugs. We're past that. This is the information age. Get the information straight. Prohibition doesn't work. It didn't work for us in alcohol. It doesn't work for us with marijuana. And there's other, countries that have chosen to get rid of prohibition. So, brother, keep preaching, and hopefully these idiots will one day open their minds.
You're right, man. I need to just chill, man. But to me,
we love you, man. Your people love you,
Yeah, man. I love my people too. I love Jay, man. It just sat wrong with me. It's like, there are households that don't have dads in them, and these young people are being raised without fathers for stupid reasons. Yes, I said that, we got to be more responsible, but I'm not going to sit up here and just preach responsibility when the system is in place to capture you, to put you in, to make money off you. That would be like me saying that the kids walking past Queenie, it's their fault that the dog jumped the fence and grabbed them. I got to talk about the dog, too.
Oh, sure. I mean, I come from a Mexican background, and I'm seeing what the war on drugs is doing to my peoples down there. I mean, there's kidnaps, and you got the government down there working with the American government, just trying to stop getting wars to, drugs to people. Like, you guys, man, let's keep it real. It's the information age. There's countless information out there. Right. Let's get it together, man.
All right, man. Thank you, Dan.
Oh, no problem, man. You keep doing your work, man. And I'm on Twitter, Royal D underscore.
Okay.
And whatever you want, hit me up on Twitter, man. I'm on there.
No doubt,
I'll keep
man.
watching your show.
Thank you, my brother. Yeah, I saw him on Twitter. He told me he was going to call in today, and I gave him the number to do so. Look, man, it's not that people can't disagree with me. Let me clear that up, man. You can disagree with me. I've been looking at data all day, getting prepped for this show, and some of it is very disturbing data. If you look at the numbers, you cannot just put this on the young. Look, if you look at the numbers of what's going on, you cannot just put that disproportionately. You cannot put that on just the people who are in that system. You just cannot. The system has a purpose. It runs for a purpose. It was designed with a purpose in mind, sir. Yes, I want people to avoid it, but we cannot just talk about people need to avoid it and it's all their fault if they get locked up. We have to look at the system's design. Okay? Yes, we got to look at it. Zero tolerance policies as a result of perceived problems of school violence, adverse effect on black children. The 3-strike law. 35% of black children grades 7 through 12 have been suspended or expelled at some point in their school careers, compared to 20% of Hispanics and 15% of whites. Now, unless you believe, Jay and all others, that black children are just inherently violent, you have to come to the same conclusions as me. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, Jay, and Jay, I apologize, and even if you unsubscribe, I'm sorry I cussed you out. That's inappropriate. I was pissed, but that's inappropriate. I shouldn't have called you names. But unless you cannot, if 35% of the black children ages grades 7 to 12 have been suspended, only 15% of whites, unless you was telling me that you believe that those black kids are twice as likely to be bad in school or act up, unless you're telling me that, you got to admit that there's some form of racism. You got to admit it's a result of racist stereotyping, mental, and the officers are telling you, we're looking for black people. We're looking for poor people. Hawk said, he came on, he said, hey, officers sat in my house and told me, we look for any rust spots on the cars. Those are cars they're pulling over. We're not pulling over the rich guy. The rich guy can have a key in the trunk. A key. This guy can have a 20 rock. Get it? I'm not talking, all right. Let's go more facts. We want more facts. Let's throw more facts in here. About $70 billion is spent on corrections each year. $70 billion spent on corrections each year. $70 billion. Is that enough? My fiscally conservative people out there. Is that enough for us to say what the hell is going on? $70 billion spent. Can you wrap your head around how much money that is? That's more than some country's gross national product, GDP or whatever. You get that just in jails. That don't get you upset. That doesn't make you want to yell. That don't piss you off, man. That don't piss you off. I'm supposed to mobile off, situational. I'm saying. Dude, I would cut. I think a rapist should have his nuts cut off. So I don't know where you got this idea. I had to tone down my rhetoric talking about rapists and pedophiles and shit. Because people like, Tim, if somebody kills a pedophile after watching one of your videos, you might be held liable. Somebody actually told me that. Wrote me a long email about watching my tonality. Because I go after those motherfuckers. But, dude, I don't agree with that. Prisons and jails consume a growing portion of the nearly $200 billion we spend annually on public safety. Prisons have not been proven as a rehabilitation mechanism for behavior. as 2/3 of prisoners will re-offend. You think that's not by design? You make a person antisocial by locking them up and restricting activity with others. Solitary confinement, the environment. I just showed you the unlawful. Oh man, I could read you story after story of prison guards. Look, if you'll make kids kill each other for a honey bun, you don't think they fucking those kids, man? You don't think they're raping kids in prison? You don't think that if you can make a kid kill another kid for a honey bun, what could you get for a Klondike bar? And you think because he got in a fight or he stole your car, that I'm supposed to be down with that shit? You got insurance, Jay. You got insurance. But violent crimes that hurt people, man, of course I'm against that. I'm against all crime, I am. It's the punishment, sir. And once again, I can't say this enough. I'm going to say it one more time. I'm going to stop saying it. I'm going to try to, at least tonight. Unless you believe that black people genetically are more predisposed to being criminals, you have to look at these numbers and come to the similar conclusions that I have. Now, if your reaction to these conclusions is, well, that's fucked up. Well, all right. Oh, damn, did we miss the game? What the oh, shit. If that's your reaction, that's your reaction. But my reaction is different. You know? Because I believe it's not. I believe it's not inherent to a color of someone's skin that they are more violent or more prone to commit crime. I believe it's by design that you are put into a situation where you are more likely than not to do X, Y, Z, and they count on it to make money. At the end of it, there is money being made, and anytime you attach money to anything, it becomes corrupted. Even what I'm doing right here, right now, right? What I'm doing right now. One day I'll go after Democrats or some shit. Next day I'll go after Republicans. You know why I'm able to do that? Because the money's not attached to it, sir. It don't matter. For sidebar, for a brief time I sold cars. My brother, big brother, consider CJ my brother, TJ, because I've known him for 30 years. Okay. I worked at one sales organization where you made a commission. Commission on new car. Made more money selling a used car than selling a used car. I mean, more money selling a used car than selling a new car. Certain cars you made more money on, period. So when people came in to buy a car, I would try to gear them to buy what? The more expensive car. The car that made me more money. Just because the car is more expensive does not mean I make more money off of it. Maybe it's been on a lot longer, which means it's more overhead. All these reasons are factors, right? Okay. So I had an incentive to what? To sell certain vehicles. I made more money. Money was my incentive. Okay, then I went to another dealership where it didn't matter what kind of car I sold. All cars, I made the same commission on every car I sold. A car is a car. And I got paid for customer service. They call you back in 30 days. Hey, did Tim Black call you up and check up on you? He did? Then I got a bonus. If 60 days I called, they call back up. 60 days, hey, did Tim Black call you this month and see if you need anything with the car? He did. He gets another bonus. I got paid a base salary for selling a certain amount of vehicles. All I wanted to do was sell you a car. It didn't matter what car it was because I got paid the same amount of money regardless of what kind of car you bought, as long as you bought a car for me. And I would sell you the car at the cheapest price I possibly could sell it because my whole job was to make you happy. So when you came in look for a car, I just want to make you happy. I wanted you to find a car you loved. I want you to find a vehicle you love, not the car I would love to sell you. Money was not attached to it. I was a better salesman. I made salesman of the month. I did very well, right? Prisons for profit. Policing for profit. Anything that has profit attached to it is bound to be corrupted. And for some reason in our society, it has been decided that black people are the commodity. Their bodies, like Joyce said, their bodies, one ass in a seat is worth this amount. All right. I thought this was a good show. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoy getting the information out there. We're not going to agree on everything. I'm going to leave you with, maybe I can leave you with another, let me leave you with this. Go to Cory Booker, Senator Cory Booker, Democrat of New Jersey. Go to his Twitter and let him know you watched the show and that you like the bill they're trying to get done, the bill that they put together, the package, the sentencing reform, that you support them, him and the other senators as well. But I've listened to Cory Booker talk about this issue, which inspired the show today. Obama went to the prison, first sitting president to visit at Penn, right? Okay. Well, let's see if he actually let some of these people out who are there for nonviolent offenses. And we need to look at even people there for violent offenses. We need to look at the term. Like I said, as long as I have people who kill people who get no time. I just did a story last week. Guy got a year house arrest. What do you do? Oh, the rich doctor who raped like 8-9 women in his office under anesthesia. He raped them. He gets a year of house arrest. Jay, he got a year of house arrest for raping women. A year. A 17-year-old, an 18-year-old guy falls in love with a 15-year-old girl. He gets 5 years for statutory rape if the parents press charges. I did a story a year ago of a little kid in like Arkansas who ran across a football field, streaked. You know, like the movie, you've seen the movies where the kids, typically white kids, I don't know what's up with y'all, but y'all taking y'all clothes off and shit. Took his clothes off, ran across the football field. Funny thing, right? He was in college. The kids, he's crazy. It was a dare. They locked his ass up. For what, 6 months? And worst of all, they made him register as a sex offender. He got kicked out of college. He's now a registered sex offender. He committed suicide. But this doctor, because he's rich, that fucker raped 8 women and will never see the inside of a jail. I'm passionate about the stories I do. I won't apologize for that. I will apologize for cussing at you. All right, guys. I'm Tim Black. Thank you for being here. This is gonna be a show tomorrow. I get a chance to redeem myself, bring it down a notch if need be. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm also on Meerkat. If you like the show and you like what I do, and you realize that this guy may not always agree with him, but he is always sincere about how he feels, feel free to give to the show, man. I would appreciate it. In Miami, they're taking these kids, man. They're making them kill each other for food. All right. No going out music today. It won't be any. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. It's all the stuff to shout out. Oh, if you want to get this podcast version, go to Stitcher Radio. I'm now a member, partner with Stitcher. They get on my shows. Blog Talk Radio, you can get on blogtalkradio.com, but you can go to Stitcher. If you go to Stitcher, man, please leave a comment. Except if your name is Jay, because Jay will probably leave me a bad comment. He's like, Tim's an asshole. Go to Stitcher. I'm gone.